Are you ready to take your Canva design skills to the next level? Because if you are, this video is for you. I'm going to be teaching you some of our favorite Canva features when it comes to designing, and I think I'm going to blow your mind. If you're new here, my name is Lauren. I'm a craft producer here at Makers Gonna Learn, where we strive to bring you inspiration, education, and motivation, no matter what type of crafting you do. So if you love Canva as much as we do and you're ready to take your skills to the next level, let's go ahead and get started. Starting out with the #1 most used Canva feature, period, here at Makers Gonna Learn is going to be shortcut keys. Y'all, this has absolutely changed my design skill level and has leveled me up so much as a designer to make it so much faster and easier for me to design. Now, I'm gonna show you some of our favorites, but there are so many more that you can Google and find them all through the Canva website, or if you are interested in learning more about Canva, we have a digital design for creatives course where we teach you everything you need to know about Canva, especially when it comes to crafting and designing. So my very favorite one is going to be, first we're going to start off with the page that we have on our canvas selected, and you can tell that by the purple bounding box. My absolute favorite one is adding a text box. So instead of having to go over here to the left hand side, find that and add a text box, which that isn't very hard to do anyway, if you will literally hit the letter T on your keyboard, a text box will appear. And y'all, this is for both Windows and Mac. All you have to do is hit the letter T and your text box will appear. I mean, it can't get any easier than that. The next one that is along those same lines, there's 3 of them that work really well, and that is if you want to add a circle, it's the letter C, boom, circle gets added. Next one is a square. Now you would think it would be the letter S, but it's actually the letter R because it comes in, I guess, for rectangle. But that one is also one of my favorites, the letter R. And then one that you wouldn't think I would use the most, which this one is one I use more than the circle and the square, and that's the letter L. Can you guess what comes in? It's a line. I love using this feature, especially when designing, when I'm adding page breaks or design elements. I love popping a line in there really quick. It's just super, super easy. Now, while we're here on the line, this isn't necessarily a shortcut key, but I did think about this. I hate how the lines always snap to a point. If you'll just click Command for a Mac or Control for a Windows, it doesn't snap. And that's with all of your elements, just FYI. It's not, like I said, it's not necessarily a shortcut key, but it's definitely one you need to know about, and so things don't snap. If you'll just hit Command for Mac, Control for PC, you can move it without it snapping to any other elements. So you can see here it snaps to other elements, and I can't really control it very well, so I do like to manipulate that way as well. The next shortcut key that I love is going to be Select All. With a Windows, it's going to be Control. With a Mac, it's going to be Command. But if you do Command A or Control A, you can select everything on your page. Maybe you have your design ready and you want to group it so it all moves together. If you do Command G or Control G, you can group everything together. And then to undo it, it is Command Shift G or Control Shift G for Windows, and that ungroups it. Now, another thing, we were talking about lines. Did you know that to underline the text on your page, if you click Command U or Control U, it will underline things on your page? And then if that's something you don't want to do, our next favorite shortcut key is the undo, which is Command or Control Z, and that undoes exactly what you just did. Now, like I said, there are so many more shortcut keys. One of them that I do use a lot, and I'll change the color so we can use this as an example. And we will make this a little bit bigger, and then we'll bring our text down here. So this is pulling things forward and backwards. So once again, Windows is Control, Mac is Command, But if you want to go send stuff to the back, it's Command or Control, and then the right facing bracket is going to bring stuff forward, and the left, so to move stuff as in the position. So what I want to do is I want to show you. We'll bring in our positions here. You can see, you can align them, do all of that. But if we pull in our layers panel, let's say we want the text, for some reason you want it to go back a layer so it fits in between your circle and your square. You can do that by dragging and pulling here. But if you don't want to go to position, layers, all of that, if you hit Command or Control and then the right bracket, it sends it to the front, or the left bracket sends it back. So left bracket to the back, right bracket to the front. But you do have to hold down Command or Control. So those are just a few of our favorite shortcut keys that we use all the time. It is one of those that I promise, if you start learning them and using them, you are going to become such a faster designer. Also, duplicate is Command or Control D. That just duplicates your image or whatever you have selected. So like I said, those are just a few of our favorite shortcut keys that takes our designing to the next level. Our next favorite feature on Canva is going to be the apps. Now you're going to find your apps if you're over here on your left-hand toolbar and you scroll down. If you come right here where it says apps, we love using these apps to level up our design. Now there are lots of different apps to choose from, so I'm just going to tell you a couple of our favorites when it comes to crafting and creating things. So the first one we're going to talk about is the mock-up apps. So we love using mock-up images on Canva. They do have some mock-up images that you can use, but this mock-up app just gives you more and more options. So they have video mock-ups, they have apparel, they have things that you may be creating to sell in your Etsy store, so many different things that you can use mock-ups for. You can also use it for sales graphics or for marketing things. We just absolutely love using these mock-up images. And with this mock-up app, I feel like we now have more options as well. Now, the other apps that we love to use, especially for designing, some of our favorites are going to be, first one is going to be Typecraft. So we have Type Gradient and we have Typecraft. So this just allows you can choose a font. Now there are very specific fonts loaded into this app that you can use. So what you're going to do with this app is you're going to type in your text here. You're going to choose your fonts. They do have a limited selection of fonts, but it's still a pretty big selection. So you're going to choose whatever font you want, and then you're going to choose your color if you want it outlined, if you want unfilled, or if you want to outline on it, or just want normal. And then from there, you can manipulate your words to exactly what you want and moving these points around. So if you wanted like a wavy text, you can do that. You can make it a wavy text by moving everything down and maybe this side up, and we'll move this side down. And you can even change where the wave is. It's really just dependent on exactly what you want, but know that once you move, you can reset the shape, but the element is then on your design. So maybe you have that, you can add it to your design, you can see there it is, but then you can come up here and manipulate it if you want to, reset the shape, do it again, possibly add it another one, you can update it, and you can see you can manipulate it to exactly what you want, but we do love using this app. Now the next one that we love using is Font Frame, and what you can do is you can add a picture to words. So what I like to do first before going to font frame is I like coming here to elements and finding a landscape image, because I will say a landscape image is going to work so much better with this font frame than an image with someone's face in it. So for example, this one's beautiful, love that. Now what we need to do is come down here to apps, and we're going to type in font frame. Select that app. Now what we can do is with this selected, we can click use selected image. You can come down here and change the words. You can leave hello world. You can scale the image if you want just like the top portion of it, or you can scale it down if you want it all. You can move it around if you want the mountains in the background. So many different things you can do with that. You can even come over here to settings. You can change your fonts. Now this one is selected with fonts that will work with this, and those are going to be pretty thick fonts. Script fonts just don't work as well. They have a few script type fonts, but with this one, it just works better with a larger font. And then you can also select if you want it aligned right, aligned center, or aligned left. And then you can change your outline thickness as well. If you want a thick outline or you want no outline at all, you can choose that here. So I do love that. And you can also change your letter spacing. So maybe we want our letters a little bit further apart. You can do that. Or if you want them closer together, you can do that as well. And then you can also manipulate your line spacing as well. So I do love that. I absolutely love this app, and it's one that I think you will love as well. The next app is going to be the Frame Maker app. I do love using this one. You can add points to this. You can start with a different shape, and you can move these points around to make it fit exactly what you want. I love all of this. This is a really good way to make a frame exactly what you want. If you don't want to go through the process of creating your own frame, you can do so here. So I do love making our own frames with the Frame Maker app. Now the last app that I'm going to talk about that we love, although there are plenty of apps on the Canva website that you can utilize, and that's going to be the Type Gradient. So if we come back over here to apps and we go to Type Gradient, you can see here that I can create a gradient on text that I want. Same thing, put your text in here. You can choose your font. Like I said, these are going to be preloaded fonts, but they have some really good ones in here. So they even have some thinner ones if you wanted to. You can check your line spacing, and then you can also add points. So if you want to add more points to your gradients, you can do that. You can remove points if you want to, and then coming up here, we can also move which direction our gradients goes. If you want it horizontal, you can do it that way, or if you want it diagonal, you can make it diagonal as well, or you can do vertical. I truly, truly love that. And now we can add to design, and here it is. What will you design today? The next thing that I absolutely love is the magic color palette trick. And there's a couple different ways that you can do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add this to our design right now. It already has a template style here, but if you have created a brand kit, you can come over here to your brand kit and you can shuffle through the styles on the brand kit that matches your brand. And I love that. Now, if you don't have a brand kit yet and you are having trouble picking out your colors, one other thing that I highly, highly suggest you doing is coming over here to the Canva color palette generator. So if you'll just go to canva.com/colors with an S, you can see that they have different things that you can play around with. So they give you color palette ideas, inspiration. They give you the color wheel where you can learn about color theory with a very interactive tool that I love. And they also give you color meanings. So they give you a list of colors and learn about the meanings. If you want to really do a deep dive before you choose your brand colors, you can do that. But my favorite is coming over here to the color palette generator. If you find an image and you love the colors in that image, so let's just do, I just want to type in Appalachian Mountains, mountain range, and we'll go to images. Like this color palette, I'm feeling it, I love it. So here, what I can do is I can take a quick screenshot of this, and I'm gonna leave that icon out of the bottom, but make sure I get the rhododendrons in there. Now I can come back over here to the image, upload this, I'm dragging and dropping, and it's giving me a color palette, but then, so that color palette, it didn't pick up the bright rhododendron color. I think it picked up the gray clouds more so. So I'm gonna come back over here and pick up these colors. So I'm going to just take a quick screenshot, not using this as anything else. So I'm not really stealing. I just really like the colors in this image. And back over here to the color palette generator, I'm gonna drop it here. So this is pulling up the sun and all of this. So you can see, you can create your own color palette based on an image that you found, or you can come down here and explore the color palettes that Canva has to offer. So what you can now do is if you find one that you like or you generate one that you like, you can copy that, and then we can come back over here, and if you wanted to, you could paste it into you can make a brand kit, or you can paste it into the color that you want. So many different things. But like I said, if you don't have a color palette that you have created for your brand, or maybe you just find an element, so let's say we add a page. Let me turn this back to white so I can show you exactly what I mean. So we're just going to turn that back to white. We're gonna come over here to elements. Let's go to all. Let's go to graphics. Let's just go to these, see all graphics, magic recommendation graphics. Maybe you're creating something. So once you have your color palette kind of figured out, you know where you're going, maybe you're making a graphic to post on social media possibly, and you are adding elements to make it pop and make it look good for your audience. So let's just look and see what we got. You know, this one's pretty cool, but once again, it's like not matching the colors. Let me show you in just a second. Let's add a couple more just so I can show you multiple times how you can do this. So here is another one that, honestly, y'all, this is pretty busy. I wouldn't do all of this if it were me, but this is just to show you how you can switch some things around to make it fit. So if I wanted to duplicate that, I'll bring it here. We're gonna flip it this way and this way, bring it here. Like I said, this is a lot, but if I wanted to make all of these match this specific style, what you can do is come up here to the top right-hand corner where this little paint roller is. It says copy style. So now I can copy that style and paste it onto these other elements. So once again, copying the style, pasting it here, copying the style, pasting it onto that element, and now everything looks a lot more cohesive than it did before. And finally, the last thing that I absolutely adore using in Canva is going to be, for example, these three little dots. Do not overlook these three little dots on anything that you see. Take advantage of everything in here, especially these elements. So if you see an element that you like, if you'll hit the three little dots, you can see who has created this. You can also star this element. You can add it to a folder. So if you want to, you can create a folder over here. So let's say we want to add it to folder. You can see that we have recent folders here. You can create a new folder and we can name it Lauren's Fave Elements. So now what I can do is I can move that to a folder, and then on top of that, if there is more in this If this artist has created more that looks like this element, it will show up down here so you can add it to folder. You can see more like this. And then sometimes they even have collections. So let's find one that has a collection that everything fits together. Here's one, it says view collection. So if you see one that you love, you can click view collection, and now you can see all of the things in that collection, which I am obsessed with. So no matter what you're searching, whether it be animals, so let's just do puppy. And you have your graphics. We can come here. That one doesn't have a collection, but maybe this one does. Nope. So this is one that does have a collection, and now I can see all of the little puppies that is in this style that this artist has created. And now I can choose the ones that I like, and I can add them to my folder. Y'all, this has been a lot of information, and there's so much more in Canva that we would love to teach you. So if you are ready to learn more and do a deep dive into Canva, especially learning about Canva and creating designs for crafting, whether it be for your Cricut or for your Etsy shop, whatever it is, make sure you click that first link down below to check out Digital Design for Creatives, because I promise you're not gonna wanna miss out. If there is a feature in Canva that you absolutely love working with that we haven't touched on in this video, because y'all, there are so many, make sure you drop it in the comments down below. We love to interact with you guys and see what your favorite features are, and maybe it might even be featured in one of our next videos. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell notification so that you can be notified every time we get crafty. If you thought you learned a lot about Canva in this video, check out this one here to learn even more.